And that's just a better system. And will it always be hegemonically backed by dollars? Probably not. But in the short run, this is certainly a way for the U.S. to solve one of their greatest problems: who's going to buy all the debt. Near perfect um, evolution and accumulation of the value according to this networking law, Metcalfe's law, in that, when you add more nodes to the system, it becomes more robust and it becomes more difficult and it becomes more valuable. And people say, well, how do you know that's going to hold? It's like Moore's law, right? In terms of transistors. I mean, humans are going to find way to get more productivity. Once they have a core technology, we can iterate. And it's that, try, fail, try again, try, fail, learn, try again, try, fail, learn. And that's where we are.
Hey guys, welcome to Everyday Finance. This is not the conclusion. Rather, it is the precursor to the conclusion. The math is unforgiving, and those who are skeptical about six-figure figures are currently rewriting their charts. With a constant supply and a rising demand, there is only one conclusion that can be drawn: higher highs. Due to the fact that there have only ever been 21 million coins produced and roughly 19.7 million mined, financial giants such as BlackRock, Fidelity, and sovereign funds are covertly burying the supply. Exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and corporate treasuries are emptying exchanges, leaving fewer coins available for trading. Less supply, higher demand, and vertical price movement are foundational concepts in economics. It's not simply the stats that tell the narrative, it's trust. The value of fiat currency decreases, stock prices fluctuate, and gold might be confiscated. Uncensorable, undilutable, and unstoppable are the three words that best describe Bitcoin today. The concept of a monetary black hole in which value is introduced but never leaves. According to Mark Yusko, Bitcoin is not an asset. Rather, it symbolizes digital sovereignty. Now, here's the punchline. $11,500 is not expensive. Rather, it is inexpensive. In the future, many people will remember this moment as one of hesitation, while others will remember it as a moment of conviction that changed their lives. The question that really matters is whether you consider $115,000 to be the best deal of the century or the best deal of all time.
Look, it is the opportunity when you think about Bitcoin as the base layer, not a thing, not a coin, not a trading widget or trading sardines or even gold. When you think of it as this ultimate settlement layer for digital things, and I said all the time, like I own a handful of digital assets that are reasonably valuable. Why are they valuable? Because they're scarce. And what makes anything valuable? It's like someone else might want it because there aren't very many of them. And so I don't want them on a blockchain where what it really is a pointer to a file on an AWS server. Because in that world, AWS could, I'm not saying they will, but they could say, you know what, that's ours. We're confiscating it. We're not letting you get to it. And that seems like a bad trade. And look, in the gaming world, I play a lot of games and I have created, in theory, a lot of value in assets, meaning, if you play something long enough, you accumulate powers or, weapons or whatever, and that has value because you've converted time into these abilities. Well, but I don't own them. And that's a weird dynamic. Now, yes, I could sell my login and give up playing the game and let someone else have those abilities, but I can't sell the sword or I can't sell the Pokemon or whatever. And that is going to change in that things that we want to have title to and ownership of, they won't settle on these other chains where they're owned by Niantic or, Capcom or these big gaming companies or EA. I mean, someone said, this is amazing. Someone said that their NBA 2K career, and I don't play NBA 2K, so I don't know if that's the right word, but their career,
Yeah.
they said was worth $400,000.
Whoa. That's maybe more than Jordan had in his rookie year, Mark. You tell me.
I know. And I'm like, whoa. But I guess if you've spent however many hours it takes to get to whatever level they are, and someone could, not have to spend those hours, would they take, because remember, what is money? Money is what you do when you convert energy to value and you get compensated for that value and you spend some of it, and everything that's left, you put in this savings, and that is the store of value. It's like a battery, right? Well, I mean, that was, I can't corroborate or prove that someone would actually pay $400K for that, but it makes sense to me, right? And, if it's not there, to me, there's just me personally, I like the journey, like just silly thing. So everyone knows I play this game Monster Hunter. And so the new one came out and I played. And so in this, you can get to level 999. And that's like the badge of honor. If you've ground enough, you can be level 999. And so, everyone's like trying to go as fast as they can to get there. And I got to like level 450. So I was almost halfway there. And I just, what? I was having fun with the struggle. Like, not being over armored. Like if you're fully armored, you got the big weapon, you can kill something with one. It's not that fun. I kind of like the struggle and the strategy. So I actually started a new character.
Excellent.
And now I'm level 113 or whatever in the new character. Change weapons, and I'm playing a different weapon, and it's kind of fun. And so, but it's interesting in that the digital world should and will allow us, right, the creators of that value, to own that value. And someone say, well, you're an idiot if you're playing something and you don't own it. But there's value. Look, everyone has their escape. Some people run, some people, I don't run. Some people, play guitar like you. I'm still trying to play guitar, but and it's so funny. This is really funny. And my wife has banished me to the attic.
Oh, no.
So no, she's like, I said, you think I'm that bad? She says, well, it's not that you're that bad. It's just, I don't want to hear the same thing over and over when you're trying to practice or do scales or whatever. And no, you're saying I suck, but okay, I'll go to the attic. And so, I'm a big Kenny Chesney fan. So I learned one of his songs and I can actually play No Shirt, No Shoes, No Service.
Here we go.
It is recognizable. And so I was upstairs practicing, and my mom and dad are staying with us while their house is getting fixed. And long story short, my mom says, who was playing the guitar? Like I was. She says, oh, that actually sounded really good.
All right, Mom.
Only a mother would say that.
I love that.
It actually did sound like music for the first time.
This move demonstrates that digital assets are more than just money on the internet. They're the next step in technological advancement. When it comes to the financial sector, blockchain technology is doing the same thing that the internet did for the media and commerce industries. The usage of your deposits is set by the bank, which owns them. This is not the case with blockchain technology, which provides you with direct control and immediate permissionless transfers without any costs or hours. Stablecoins already demonstrate the future. Payments that are very instantaneous and inexpensive, gradually reducing reliance on currencies that are guaranteed by the government.
That is ultimately what each of us do every single day. right? That's what human existence is. It's about converting energy to value. And some people are really, really good at it. Some people are really efficient. Some have to work really hard at it. But systems that promote progress make those things easier, right? Tools, machines, technology, software. So that growth actually isn't linear, to your point. It is exponential.
Right.
And we've showed that chart in the past where, 100 years ago, we barely had cars. Now we have self-driving cars. I mean, that is an almost an incomprehensible thing. 100 years ago, we barely had air travel, and now we have supersonic, almost, personal portable, drones. So there is this natural accretion of value to innovation and wealth true wealth creation and then here wealth storage in the form of Bitcoin. But I am always struck by the near perfect evolution and accumulation of the value according to this networking law, Metcalfe's law, in that, when you add more nodes to the system, it becomes more robust and it becomes more difficult and it becomes more valuable. And people say, well, that, how do you know that's going to hold? It's like Moore's law, right? In terms of transistors. I mean, humans are going to find way to get more productivity. Once they have a core technology, we can iterate. And it's that, try, fail, try again, try, fail, learn, try again, try, fail, learn. And that's where we are. And it's nice to see it, like I say, in black and white. It's super nice to see kind of this recognition that this is not, magic internet money. It's not some mythological thing. What we have is a technological evolution. It's not even a revolution. It's an evolution of technology that I've said it many, many times in the past that, the internet, which was feared and reviled and fought against because it displaced incumbents in two very large industries, media and commerce. If you controlled media and, like a newspaper or radio station or television station, and you got to decide when you disseminated information and what information got disseminated. And there was this open-ended, universal 24/7 machine with all of the knowledge of human history, right? And it's in your palm, this thing called the internet. It's like, well, I don't want that. I don't want that. I can't control that. Well, yeah. It's like when Bill Gates was on the David Letterman show saying, no, you don't want the internet. You want the Microsoft intranet. Hell to the no. No, we don't. So that disintermediation of media and ultimately commerce, when you wanted something in the olden days, you went to the store and maybe they had it, maybe they didn't, and you could have them order it for you. It took time. And now you punch a button and it shows up on your front porch, sometimes even within a couple hours. That disintermediation was because of this technological evolution from generic computing to functional software. And now we're in this next iteration, which is what a blockchain does is it organizes and stores data in a way that revolutionizes or evolutionizes, I guess, financial services. Financial services is the largest industry in the world, and it's not close, right? And it governs, to your point, governs ownership, right? The right to something, take money, right? We all think we have money and we put it in the bank, and we don't ever stop to think, well, wait a minute, why did I give my money to the bank? Because now it's the bank's money, and they might give it back to me, and most of the time they do, But technically, and actually, the ownership, because of this large morass of government systems, says it's actually theirs. And if you read the fine print, which no one does, right? They don't have to give it to you when you ask for it. They don't have to allow you to use it for the things that you want to use it for. They can ask you questions like I've talked about where I'm like, okay, I want to transfer some money. Like, to what? Well, it's none of your business. I mean, literally, it's none of your business. Like, well, yeah, it is. And if you don't tell me, then I'm not going to do it. So, and then the New York Times prints the article that, having a bank account is not a fundamental right.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, time out. So we can fix that. Blockchains fix that. If I own an asset on blockchain, I don't need the bank's permission. I don't need the government's position. I don't need anyone's permission to move it to you or to my, my son or anybody else. I mean, my son came in today, and so I had a call this morning, so he had to walk home from cross-country practice. He's like, I demand compensation. So like, well, no, I mean, it's good for you to get a little exercise.
Or extra practice, from
Yeah, extra practice. But if I did want to compensate him, I can, punch a couple buttons. I don't need to ask the bank's permission to say, should I be allowed to give some of my money to my son? And that's a better system. And so we're on the precipice of truly landmark evolution in, as you said very correctly, governance of value dissemination and control. And that's a really cool place to be, as long as you're not dependent on the rents of the old system. If you happen to be dependent on the rents of the old system, bank, broker, insurance company, custody agent, you don't like it very much because, I just use a simple example, stablecoin, right? If I, sitting on my couch in my pajamas on Sunday morning and I want to buy something, if I want to use fiat, I got to wait for the bank to open, or I got to use a credit card and pay somebody 3%. With a stablecoin, I can do it instantaneously, basically for free. I mean, it's not quite free, but it's, essentially free. And that's just a better system. And will it always be hegemonically backed by dollars? Probably not. But in the short run, this is certainly a way for the U.S. to solve one of their greatest problems: who's going to buy all the debt.
Mark Yusko spoke to the Federal Reserve's beginnings, observing that it was less of a safeguard for the general people and more of a device to benefit those who were already on the inside. The Federal Reserve is neither a federal nor a real reserve, despite the fact that its name is it a genuine weapon, an insidious hemorrhage that erodes purchasing power and locks generations in debt. Inflation is a debilitating phenomenon. Bitcoin is a model that flips that. It is not possible to print it into worthlessness or confiscate it like gold, in contrast to fiat currency. It takes control away from centralized authorities and places it in the hands of decentralized networks, so providing individuals with direct authority over their assets. Its mining difficulty even self-adjusts, demonstrating its resilience. In the face of bans, shocks, or geopolitical games, Bitcoin is a sophisticated system that combines technology and economics to rewrite the dynamics of wealth creation, security, and transfer on a global scale. At its foundation, Bitcoin is a mathematical transformation that converts energy into value,